Good afternoon and welcome to your 4 o'clock bulletin with me, James McCarthy.
And me, Carmen Fernandez. Coming up,
I'll have the latest here from the tragic events here yesterday on Peel Street.
And you'll catch me here later, seeing what kind of alternatives there are for people who are doing dry January.
And I'm in Centre Market, where we're going to be taking a look at Nottingham's latest creative space.
but first, this evening, a woman has died and man remains in hospital following a car crash in Nottingham city centre yesterday morning. A man in his 50s had been arrested. This afternoon, police officers have sealed off a house in Arnold as part of the investigation into the accident. Our correspondent, Joe Tennyson, has been following the story and is in Nottingham city centre. Joe, what's the latest from Peel Street?
Yes, well, these streets are now clear, but throughout the day they have been filled with police activity. They have been investigating the scene and have sealed off Peel Street and North Sherwood Street through the night and throughout the day today. Nottinghamshire Fire and Rescue Service were informed yesterday of a car collision into a wall at 10:10 a.m. yesterday. Police have told us today that there's a 56-year-old man that has been arrested on suspicion of murder and attempted murder. As for the victims, well, one is in hospital with we have been told life-threatening conditions. However, one woman tragically died yesterday afternoon.
And why are police officers at the house in Arnold?
Yeah, so we're informed at 2:30 by local reports that there is a police cordon on a house on Nursery Road in Arnold. We have been told as well that that is related to the incidents yesterday here on Peel Street. Police have appealed for witnesses here if you call 101 if you know of any activity around here on Peel Street at 10:10 yesterday morning.
Thank you, Joe. Nottingham's latest Market Theatre opens tonight with its first show of 2018. 448 Psychosis is a play with a minimal production and a very strong message about mental health issues. The director says the performing arts can be used as a tool for coping with mental illness and encourage people to be involved with them, but to be aware of what they're getting into.
I think being involved in theatre and the arts as a way to support people with mental health issues is kind of a two-edged sword, particularly a play like this, because it's so direct and it's so challenging and it's so emotional that if you choose to act in something like this, you can't act without making yourself vulnerable. So I would always urge people who are experiencing mental health issues to explore the arts and go and see representations of mental health issues on stage. But I would always say be a little bit careful when getting involved and make sure you know what you're getting into, because it can be quite challenging.
We were joined later in the studio by actress J.D. Crouch and asked whether performing arts had contributed positively to her mental health.
Yeah, definitely. So I struggled with mental health problems my entire life, and as soon as I started performing, it was just so helpful straight away and so therapeutic.
And what is it about the performing arts that really help with your mental health?
It's just so cathartic. You can be feeling absolutely everything at once and all of these emotions just pent up inside you. And as soon as you get on stage, it just melts away. And you can be someone else, you can mess around in warm-ups and just let loose, and it's just great.
Do you think more mental health organisations should encourage people to use performing arts as a tool?
Absolutely. I think it's so therapeutic and it's nothing but beneficial to anyone that I've ever spoken to. And I know from personal experience that it's just so helpful.
Brilliant. Thanks for coming in. There has been a recent spike in knife crime across the East Midlands, with 1,135 cases last year alone. CBJ's Cameron Hill has been speaking to 2 police officers about their experiences and finding out what forces are doing to tackle the problem.
Last week there was knife crime right here outside of Rock City, a student favourite club in Nottingham city centre. A man was robbed at knife point when the suspect then fled to Waverley Street, where he had to be tasered before he was apprehended. I next spoke to a trainee police officer on his experiences with knife crime within Nottingham.
Coming from a village myself, until I started being a part of Nottingham Specials, I don't think I quite realised how rampant it was. So coming to a city, it's everywhere, and we sort of watched some videos of a BBC documentary not that long ago in training of 15-year-olds carrying knives, and it would sort of come from like school issues of like nothing that sort of every kid's experience, but it would escalate to using knives, whereas I don't think that was a problem, say, 20, 30 years ago.
It's a priority for us. We're the only force outside the Met that have got a dedicated knife crime team. We've continued to invest in that team, and also we have done a number of events at local schools and also some youth associations. But actually, if you look at, say, things like schools liaison officers, with some of the measures and the numbers of officers when they reduced, they were taken away a few years ago. It's my intention to try and put some of those officers back into schools despite some of the current resourcing challenges that we've got.
According to UK crime statistics across the East Midlands, there was a total of 212 convictions for possessions of a bladed weapon in 2017 in Derby alone, 439 convictions in Leicester and 484 in Nottingham, the highest of all the East Midlands cities. According to a recent police survey, crime across England and Wales is up 14%, and 21% of that alone is knife crime. Over the past 12 months in Nottingham, there have been 707 incidents where knife crimes have been reported, which is as many as 2 a day. Despite the fact that police are saying there's going to be a crackdown on knife crime, only time will tell if there will be any clear results. Cameron Hill, Cbj News.
A £20 million upgrade will be given to improve neglected roads of Nottinghamshire as part of the county council's annual budget. But where will this funding come from? Russian Oliver reports.
Potholes, a nuisance for many drivers and cyclists, which only get worse if they go unfixed. As part of Nottinghamshire County Council's highway investment, an extra £20 million will be added to the £142 million already set aside for road improvements. However, this comes at a cost to local residents as the budget proposes a 2.99% increase in council tax and a 2% rise in adult social care in order to raise the extra cash.
I feel as though the job needs doing because there's a lot of potholes, especially in the area that I'm living in, as a driver myself, but I'm not happy with the fact that it's going to be coming out of the council tax money. As a working mum, being a working mum myself, I already pay the high amount of council tax, so to increase that, it's just an extra bit unnecessary bill, in my opinion. I feel as though the work should be done, but the funding should come from elsewhere.
Councillor Jackson expressed his regret in recommending a council tax increase, but said it is a priority to invest in the road structure after public concerns over its poor state.
The state of the road is one of their high priorities or importance, and after a few years of neglect, we decided it needed a fairly substantial financial input to bring the roads up to a better standard and make them a lot safer for people, users, but both car and cycle users as well. So that's why we decided to put sort of 20 million in over the next 4 years to try and bring the roads up to a more standard that's acceptable to the people, and once they're up to a standard, they're easier to maintain as well, so hopefully cheaper to keep right in the future.
Repairs have already begun, with the council focusing on roads that are likely to deteriorate in the future. It is being recommended that the increase to the council tax comes in from April 2018. I'm Shane Oliver reporting for Cbj News.
E-cigarettes are rapidly gaining popularity, especially among young people who regard them as harmless. An estimated 2.9 million adults in Great Britain currently use e-cigarettes according to the NHS. New research finding that e-cigarette smokers could have higher levels of DNA damage and risk of cancer. People in Nottingham had mixed opinions over these findings.
I'm not blindly defending e-cigarettes. I know that I feel I can breathe better, food tastes nice again, I've got a bit more energy and I'm spending less money.
Isn't it a bit of a pop culture thing to have a vape or an e-cigarette?
You're still smoking, and I reckon there's a lot of chemicals in there and stuff that we don't know about yet, that we haven't researched fully yet.
Because they feel like it's healthier, and they see it as a way of weaning themselves off smoking.
If research are saying like vape cigarette is bad, so it must have some reason. So try to abstain from having that.
Next, are you one of the thousands of people who have been avoiding drinking alcohol since New Year's Eve? Then you've been enjoying dry January. Cbj's Noona Hemmetpour has been finding out how staying sober for the first month of the year has affected businesses in Nottingham.
Dry January is the annual movement through which millions of people give up alcohol for the month of January. Doing this sober month enables you to take control of your relationship with alcohol and drives a conversation about it. But how does it affect Nottingham, and how does it affect the local economy? We went to a popular bar in the city centre to see how this sober month is going for the business.
I think it's a combination of people not having money after Christmas, combined with dry January. It did seem to be quiet for the first couple of weeks. Then, as people potentially gave up on dry January, then picked back up again halfway through. A drop, I'd say, mostly in sort of draft products, so Peroni, that sort of thing. But when it comes to cocktails, I think people are pretty dead set on having a cocktail. I think the people who tend to do dry January are potentially the people who drink pints and then decide halfway through that they're going to then have one. We have had an increase in our non-alcoholic beer. This year's been particularly quiet. It looks like it's starting to go back to normal now.
We caught up with the university student to see what her motivation was behind it.
I like to drink a lot and my liver needed to recover a bit. I thought I'd challenge myself as well because I literally go out and drink every single week. I raised money because I thought while I'm doing it, I might as well do it for a really good cause, especially because I'm doing it for cancer research because they have it on anyway, so I might as well do it for me and do it to raise money as well.
As dry January draws to a close, it may be time for a drink for some. Nuna Hemmetpaw, Cbjnews.
Islington Market is hoping to become an area of arts and culture thanks to the Renewal Trust. Our reporter Matt Atsbury has more.
In the heart of Islington Market, there is a new creative space hoping to help the local community get involved in different arts and culture programmes. The market is home to an array of different shops, ranging from clothes to art to coffee, and now the Renewal Trust is hoping to make Islington the centre point of creativity in Nottingham. The hub will be the heart of the Renewal Trust Community Arts and Culture programme, and local communities will be helping to commission artists and help organise events here at Islington Market. Over 77 people attended the launch of the place, and those who attended were given a free copy of the Islington Pride of Place project book, which is celebrating the Islington Pride of Place exhibition here at Islington Market. After only opening a few days ago, the place is already getting involved in various arts and culture programmes across the city.
We're going to be partnering with Nottingham Puppet Festival with City Arts as part of their community engagement site. So we're going to have a large spectacle up at the windmill in Islington at Greensmill, and then we're also going to have a walkabout for a large spectacle in St Anne's, so leading up to the Puppet Festival so that people locally actually know that it's on, they can access free activities on the square, they can go and see performances and films.
As a creative hub, the place is hoping to continue to promote arts and culture in Nottingham over the next 2 years. But in its early days as a creative space, the place is already leaving its own mark on Nottingham's art and culture. Matt Asprey, Cbjnews.
DNA Art Space is a unique new hair salon that has recently opened in Nottingham, offering an alternative vision for the salon of today. Our reporter Gemma Donaldson went to find out more.
There's nothing better than the feeling of a new haircut or style, and across the city there are a range of different salons to choose where to get your next do. But what makes a hair salon desirable to its customer when there are so many places to choose from? Directors at the brand new hair salon DNA Art Space, Dale and Angelo, believe they have something unique to offer Nottingham.
We're a brand new salon just opened in Nottingham, a brand new brand, a brand that's driven on creativity. As you can see, we've got an amazing space built up with different concepts within the salon. i.e. we've got a male grooming area, this is our academy stroke photo shoot area, colour zone and spa area, and all together it works very magical within DNA Art Space.
Dale Hearn, who is one of the managing directors at DNA Art Space, wants to promote the brand not only to its older clients, but students also. DNA is offering 50% off to all students, which is something rare to find anywhere else. The salon also hosts different events every month, where there is sometimes an offer of champagne and nibbles.
3rd of March, we'll be putting an event on. It's a collaboration between ourselves and various other brands in Nottingham. We use Space & K, we're going to use The Alchemist, Indie Jewellery, and we're going to come together, we're going to give our clients something a little bit different. There's also going to be a DJ there as well, with Secret Champagne. So these are the kind of things we're doing as well here. We're kind of collaborating with local businesses to give our clients and our staff as well, for me a little bit more interesting to be accustomed to at work.
It's fair to say the salon has something to offer for everyone, and Nottingham had a space for this unique establishment in the market. Both Dale and Angelo expect this store to take off and hope to open future stores in London and Manchester. Gemma Donaldson, CBJ News.
And finally, today is National Croissant Day. People all across the world have been enjoying the tasty pastry, including right here in Nottingham.
Our reporter Lily King has been for a bite of the buttery confection and discovered that it's not as French as you may think.
Croissants have become a much-loved treat over the years all over the world, with customers enjoying them for breakfast and brunch with a variety of fillings and flavours. Today is dedicated completely to croissants, and many people are taking the opportunity to celebrate at bakeries like Nottingham's Patisserie Valerie.
We do plain almond croissant and chocolate croissant. We do warm croissants as well, like cheese and ham and cheese and tomato croissants for eating in. And yeah, we sell out most days of croissants, so baked fresh on the day as well. So plain croissants always go well because people just want something quick bite on the way to work or something. So yeah, they're always the popular ones. Everybody likes a plain croissant with a bit of jam and butter.
I took to the streets of Nottingham to see if people prefer more traditional flavours or something more exciting.
Ooh, chocolate.
My favourite croissant is butter and jam.
A chocolate croissant.
You don't like them?
I don't like them. They're horrible.
I do like croissants.
What favourite flavour?
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Croissants are enjoyed as a tasty treat in many parts of the world, but despite a common misconception, they're not actually from France. They're actually come from the 1683 defeat of the Turks in Vienna, where bakers made the shapes of the crescent moon to celebrate the defeat, and is actually the symbol of the Ottoman Empire. So today you can enjoy your croissant as part of National Croissant Day. Lily King, CBJ News.
On to sport, and the draw for the 5th round of the FA Cup took place last night. The East Midlands have just one side left in the competition. Let's go to Connor to find out more.
That's right, Notts County have made it into the draw for the 5th round of the FA Cup. The League Two side fought heroically to force a replay against Premier League opposition Swansea this weekend and could earn a trip to Sheffield Wednesday should they make it to the next round. Away from the FA Cup, Nottingham Forest host Preston North End tonight in the Championship. With no new injury problems, Forest will likely face Preston with an unchanged side. Aitor Karanka has expressed his desire to bring in some fresh faces in the January transfer window though. Nottingham Rugby Club will take on an unfamiliar opponent this weekend. The Green and Whites will face the British Army in a friendly match at Lady Bay as they warm up to face the Navy at Twickenham in May. Back to the studio.
Now it's been a cold but dry day, but it looks like more rain could be heading our way. Let's get the latest on the weather now from Ella Kelly.
The weather for this evening will be breezy with cloudy skies, with temperatures staying around 6 degrees across Nottinghamshire. Overnight there'll be light showers in places with lows of 4 degrees. Not too chilly, but make sure you take a jacket if you're heading out. Moving into tomorrow, the morning will unfortunately bring rain in places, but the afternoon will be mostly sunny, with highs of 8 degrees. That's all for your weather now.
Thanks, Ella. That's all for today.
We'll be back with more news tomorrow. Have a lovely evening.